Yeah.
What a lad, what a lad, what a lad, what an absolute lad. What a lad, what a lad, what a lad, what an absolute lad.
What a lad. Now, believe it or not, today I am joined by one of the great lads. He is a man who has been very loyal to the red jersey, having started off with the Canterbury team before making his mark with the Crusaders, where he carved it up in Super Rugby. He then moved over to the Scarlets in Wales, playing 9 seasons over there. And of course, he ended with the ultimate goal of playing international rugby for Wales. Now he is back where it all started, and how good is it seeing him back in the Crusaders jersey again and back carving it up? It is, of course, the lad of all lads, Johnny McNicholl. Welcome, mate.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you. I always love your intros. That's so good. Made it feel like $100.
Mate, you are $100, and one thing trying to do some research on you, no podcast ever. This is your first ever podcast.
Yeah, the debut.
How has this happened? Like, one of the funniest, most articulate, great story. Like, it hasn't been on a podcast before.
Picking it up, it's only downhill from here now.
Yeah, no pressure on the yarn. But, mate, I'm surprised that you haven't been on a podcast before.
No, I've been asked a few times. I just didn't think the timing was right. I always wanted to do it back home with someone, and you seem like the greatest lad of all time, the greatest podcast in New Zealand to do it on.
Well, I do know that you do listen to it. You obviously have big trips over in Wales, getting to training, like an hour to get to training.
Yeah, so I lived in Cardiff, and training ground in Connectley was about an hour drive just on the motorway, straight road, no thinking. It was quite a nice drive in the morning because you get to wake up, prepare for the day, no rush into it.
Yeah.
The drive home was a battle, man, a big battle. We had long days over there too, so you had 5 o'clock traffic.
In the dark too.
Yeah, in the dark most of the time. Nodding off a few times. I had to stop in what they call the services over there and have a wee 30-minute kip.
Yeah. Oh, true.
Yeah, especially if you're alone.
Yeah.
I did have a lift club there, which was good for a lot of the time. So when I first got there, I was in a lift club with Hadley Parks.
Oh, legend.
Kieran Fonatia.
Oh, crew.
So that gets you through the drives quite well.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of my time there, my lift club was Johnny Williams.
Oh,
what
another what a lad legend.
Another what a lad. And Ryan Elias, the Welsh hooker. So they got me through a bit. But on those solo drives, what a lad was blasted. It was great.
Was the only thing that would keep you awake.
It would get me through.
What was the thing that was making you nod off?
Oh, mate, just those long days, and you getting up at 6 in the morning, it's dark, and then travelling home at 4 and it's dark again. Those are tough times over.
Depressing times, eh? But how good to be back. It's all happened a bit sooner than you probably imagined, but how good.
Yeah, definitely sooner than I imagined. I didn't think I would be back this soon. I still had 5 months left on my deal with Scarlets, but Toddy gave me the text, you gave me the wee text, and we talked about it with the family, and it just seemed the right decision. Yeah.
How hard was it? How hard was it to make the decision and get out of your contract? And
to make the decision, it was funny. Like, Toddy would have seen the texts. I basically said no the first time.
Yeah.
And then that was like more of a monetary thing in my head. I was like, it's not going to be worth it. We're going to lose a lot of money coming back. And then 4 hours later, I was like, shit, that'd actually be really cool to play for the Crusaders again.
Yeah.
And it'd be really cool to have babysitters back and be able to live the New Zealand lifestyle, which I haven't been able to live again. And I was like, what does it look like, Toddy? Yeah. And then the hiccups came then of maybe I'm still qualified for Wales, and I might be counted as a foreign player over here.
Yeah.
But it's like when that carrot gets dangled in front of you and taken away, I'm like, oh shit, I really want to come back now. Like, I really want to come back. So Toddy's seen me go from now not really interested to like desperate. Yeah. Desperate to come back. And when we took money aside, it just seemed like the right thing to do. And mate, in hindsight now, like I'm so happy I come back. Like, it's been awesome. Just being back with family, like take all the rugby stuff out of it. It's been awesome. And then put the rugby stuff into it. It's been great.
Yeah. And how has that rugby side of it been for you?
Yeah, it's been good. Like, we run things differently here, which is it's a new challenge. I got really comfortable where I was in the Scarlets. Like, I loved my time there; it was awesome. But like in meetings and in games, I didn't feel those nerves the last couple of seasons. I knew what I had to do, and so you sort of become comfortable. But coming back here, I remember the first meeting, didn't really know many boys in the room anymore. Like loads had left, and I had those nerves come back, and it was just a meeting. I was like, oh my god, what's it going to feel like? What's it going to feel like for a game? If I'm feeling this nervous for a damn meeting.
How was the game?
The game was good. Like I had the nerves going to the game, but then as I ran out, like just for the warm up, even though it had been like seven years since I'd played at I don't even know what the stadium is now. It was AMI when I was here at Orange Theory or Apollo. When I ran out, it felt like yesterday. I was like, holy, how's this feel like? It's just like normal again.
Yeah.
Just everything. My brain was telling me like I'd done it yesterday. So it felt great. And then even the game itself, like putting the jersey back on for the first time, it felt like I'd always been there. It felt like I hadn't left. It was weird. It's weird to think that it was like 7 years ago.
That is cool. And you played like it. You hadn't left either, too, to be fair, didn't you? Absolutely stormer of a game to start.
Oh, a game or two halves. No, it was good to be. It was good to be back out there, mate. It was. I felt like I had a point to prove, like not knowing many boys in the room. Yeah. Like they might have been thinking, "Who's this old dog coming back here?"
Did you feel like that? Like, did you feel like guys that were wondering who the heck is this old guy?
Yeah. And you get like the old word thrown around, and you're like, "Shit, I'm actually not that old." But these boys definitely will think it. And I thought, "Oh man, I got to play. I got to prove myself here." Like, I've got boys in the room that probably didn't even watch me play for the Crusaders. And now I felt like I've got to prove to them that I'm good. I've got to prove to them that I'm still fast. I've got to prove to them that I can do this game. And I hope through training and the couple of games I have that I have proved to the boys, and I've got their respect now.
Mate, I think you certainly have. And what was it like after the game? I think like your phone was blowing up, wasn't it?
Yeah, I played a few tests over in Wales, and I didn't get much messages playing those tests because my circle in Wales would, but people back in New Zealand weren't even really watching the games. And then you have a good game for the Crusaders, and mate, my phone didn't stop till 7 days later, just like reels and people sharing stuff. It was awesome. It was like, I'm not a massive social media guy, but it was good to get that gratification from like my mum and my dad and all the people around that are watching the games again, family and friends, like especially the friends here that never even would have watched one Scarlets game or one. They're like, oh, he's back, and so it's great. Yeah, it's great.
It's interesting, eh? Like you go overseas, and even though it's big competitions over there, you don't feel as judged because it's not your mates and the people that you're really close with, and then you come back, it's a whole different sort of pressure to perform because they're the people whose opinions you really care about, eh?
Yeah, they're the ones that that matter, aren't they? Those friends and family. So like playing in front of them again, that's probably what brought all the nerves back. And like those games that I played for the Scarlets in European rugby and the Welsh games are something like bigger than that Chiefs game. You know? Like they're big, they're bigger moments in rugby, harder games for some of them, and you get nothing from your friends back here. They don't care about those teams that are not watching it.
Even playing against the All Blacks, like the game that you'd think everyone in New Zealand would have watched or supported you or sent you a message, but
like the biggest game of my career, and I would have had a text from a couple of my best mates like Fonz and Cody, but Cody was playing the game, but
he shook your hand.
Like he's like, oh, well done, you've still got it. I'm like, why aren't you watching me play, mate? That's how things are, isn't it? Like we're in our wee bubble here in New Zealand, or players that stay here and your friends that are here, that's their little bubble, and until you go overseas, and the boys that have been overseas understand like Heinzie and that, like how big rugby is and how different the game is over there, and massive games can be as well. Yeah,
mate, there's some unbelievable competitions over there and like big occasions that no doubt you would have played in. But I guess that's one thing about the pre-season, which was so good for the Crusaders' point of view, being able to give a lot of these guys that experience of playing rugby in the UK. And I guess another bonus of that was getting to train against you, seeing the form you're still in, and then signing you.
Yeah, I must have had a hell of a training run to get signed off that.
You did train well, far out.
Like, our team trained really well that day. Like, we were on fire. Like, I'll tell you a funny story about that. Like, so, we trained against the Crusaders on a Thursday? It was like 2 days before the Crusaders game, and we had no game that week, so we bussed down to Bristol to meet you guys before your Bristol match, and we trained really well. We'd been going really average in the season, hadn't won in like 7-8 weeks, and we had like the training of all trainings, like for us, just carving up the Crusaders. And I was on the field, but the boys back in the shed started singing the team song, like they'd won a match. So one of the boys started singing our team song, Sospan Van, and everyone apparently joined in the change rooms, banged it out like we'd won a match. It was just a training run.
Well, you did win the training. You trained pretty well, and sometimes it can feel like it's been so long between singing the team song. You just have to take anyone, even if it is a training win.
Yeah, that was probably only the 4th time we'd sung it that season.
Oh, good stuff. Well, anyway, I'm keen to get to your story, the story of Johnny McNicholl, born and raised in...
Born in Nelson, raised in Christchurch.
Oh, true, I didn't know. How long were you in Nelson for?
A couple of years, before we moved down. But I was a Tasman supporter when they first came about for that reason, being born in Nelson.
Born there.
Yeah. But luckily Canterbury got hold of me first. No, that obviously Tasman turned out to be great in future years. But yeah, the first. I was born in Nelson, brought up in Christchurch. I started my rugby journey in league.
Did you league player?
Yeah, I was a league player for 2-3 years for the Addington Magpies.
What age is that? What age does league start?
I think he started at like 5, 6, but I started at 7 and played till I was 9 or 10. And I think the reason I started there was my parents wanted me to tackle first instead of touch.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, I'm not known for my tackling still, but so it might have not helped that much. But no, it was a good introduction to the sport. And then we moved to rugby when I was 10 years old, and I flicked from a few clubs. So I went from Hoonhay to Marist. Hoonhay's now called Suburbs, and we moved to Marist because me and Toulouse Vierne couldn't make the A team. Oh. And I think we're the only professional players to come out of that under-10s Hoonhay side. Oh,
and still bitter about it.
And we are
absolutely
still bitter
robbed.
So we ended up going to, I went to Sydenham. Toulouse ended up going on to Stack, so he played high school rugby.
Yeah.
And I went to Cashmere High, and Cashmere High not known for its rugby at the time. I think they might be in the second competition now, but at the time we were Wednesday rugby. That's what we played against all the average schools. And so I just played club rugby on the Saturday and school rugby on the Wednesday.
Right.
And like it was not very organised. I remember a few times at Cashmere High, like a few of us boys would be the ones taking the jerseys to the game, picking the team, and would say, "Oh, your first 5 this week. I'm gonna play number 8." Like it wasn't coached or anything like that. I think nowadays it's a lot better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just a club rugby boy through and through. Sydenham from under 10s, under 11s maybe to right through to Div 1, and school rugby wasn't a thing for me, so I don't have the press cup stories or the good school team stories. I was just a club grinder. Yeah,
right, that's cool.
Started off playing first 5 for those first few years. As you do, you want the ball in your hands first.
Yeah.
We used to just run the dummy 1-2 cut and slice teams apart.
Deadly.
Never pass the ball. And that's when my coaches then flicked me out into the centres because I wasn't passing enough, and eventually moved out to fullback. My first rep team would have been under 16s, I think, so a bit of a late bloomer. I think we had a good team.
But robbed those earlier years, or was that pretty genuine?
My mum would say I was robbed those early years. We did go to a few trials, like under 48 kgs, under 63 kg trials, and like definitely it was the coach's sons being picked and all their mates, and like some battler from Sydenham wasn't being picked. It was all the schools,
the cliques,
like the Christchurch Boys Highs, the St Bede's, and those sorts of schools would make those Canterbury teams, and a battler from Cashmere wasn't gonna. How did you react to that as a young kid? Were you gutted, or did it make you train harder? Or I was gutted. I remember crying one time when after a trial game they literally sat everyone down, and then the coach named the team off a list, and your name didn't get called out, and I was like, surely I was good enough. And then you'd walk away with tears in your eyes, and you'd be a bit upset, but it only drives you more to make the next one. And luckily in under 16s we had a pretty good coach, Sydney Taumidi, and we had a good RDO at Sydenham called Down McLeod, and they put my name forward for the under-16s rep side, and I ended up getting picked in that, and that was sort of the first time I was recognised. And I think at that age as well, that's when you actually know if he's going to be good or not. Like those younger ages, it's just the biggest kid, isn't it? The biggest kid and the fastest kid, And that got my name in the lights a bit more and a bit more recognition. From there, I realised that I needed to play really good to make these teams because I wasn't at the big schools like the other kids were. So I was playing in this rep team, and I was playing with like Tyler Blindales, and he was carving up Press Cup. He was playing first 15 rugby at 16 years old, and I was like, if I'm going to make these teams and be as good as these guys, I'm going to need to do something different. So when I was 17, still at school, I ended up playing a few games for Div 1, Sydenham Rugby. So
far out.
I was playing Colts, so I was playing up a year, playing Colts Rugby for Sydenham. We had a pretty good team. And then I got a couple of games for Div 1 that year as a 17-year-old, playing against like my teachers at school. I remember coming into school and we played Burnside, and my first ever Division 1 game, I was marking Vince Millars, if you remember him, the Warriors winger. Oh, yeah. As a 17-year-old kid, he'd come down to try crack Canterbury Rugby. And I touched the ball once in the whole game, but it was an intercept try, and I thought I was the man. My teacher comes to school with a black eye, and everyone at school thinks I'm the man for playing Div 1 rugby. And I think those few Div 1 games that I played as a 17-year-old got me recognised around here, so I ended up getting into the academy through that pathway. And I couldn't be thankful enough for Sydenham for that, because playing for Kashmir, there was no way I was going to be recognised. And those few Div 1 games definitely helped me get my foot in the door to the product line of Canterbury. And those boys that make that academy, it's pretty successful. I think the strike rate was over 90% or something.
Incredible of how many actually go on to play professional rugby. Like once you're in, you can only really stuff it up yourself. Yeah,
it's true. Like I don't even think I could name anyone in my academy that didn't go on to play at least some form of Mitre 10 Cup.
Yeah.
Like if you're not good enough for Canterbury, you definitely were good back in those 2010 days. Like you're definitely good enough to play elsewhere at any other region.
Yeah. Hey, that's so interesting. And what did you change? Like you said, you missed out on the rep teams. Like, were you a hard worker? Like, what was your approach to the game? Did you always want to be a professional rugby player? Was that like the goal that you were striving for? Or
yeah, definitely always wanted to be a pro rugby player. Always wanted to be a pro rugby player. If I could go back in time, I would try go to a school. Yeah. Like, people say never change anything, but like, because I've got to where I've got to. But I would love to. It wouldn't have made me any more successful, but I would have loved to have those experience of playing like first 15 rugby, from what everyone says how like cool that experience is. Yeah. I would have loved to have that. And I think if I had not had a girlfriend at school and was so attached to her, I might have been more willing to leave Kashmir where she was.
So that's what kept you there.
Yeah.
How young was this love?
Oh, it was a short-term love. It was only a year or two, but yeah.
What age? When you're
16, 17, your first sort of girlfriend, and I didn't really want to leave school for her, and so I stayed and didn't go pursue that first 15 dream that I probably should have. I went the hard way about it, but it ended up working out.
Would she not let you leave, or you just didn't want to be a part? It was one of those ones.
It was just me, it was just me, just attached, and 6 months later it was over anyway, but so it didn't matter. But no, then I made the academy, and I was playing Div 1 at the time, and back in those days, Radar at the academy wanted you to play against people your age, so I had to go back down and play Colts again. Oh, okay. Which would not happen now, because you have 18-year-olds coming in playing Super Rugby, but back then that wasn't a thing. So he's like, go back down and play against people your age, and then in a couple of years' time, in a year's time you play Div 1, and then in a year's time you'll play Mitre 10 Cup. Like that was the pathway. Yeah. And I reckon I probably was ready to play. Well, I was playing Div 1 already, so I didn't need to go back down, and I could have streamlined my professional rugby career, but that was how things were done back then.
And apparently that Colts team or whatever team it was, under 20s or whatever, was a stacked team. I had a few questions coming about that team.
That team is stacked, yeah.
Who'd you have in it?
So academy player Paul Howe would have been our 9. 10 was Tyler Blyndale.
Combos.
12 was Daniel Winchester, a Great Sydenham Div 1 player. 13, Mason Roswell, probably one of the fastest blokes going around. Played first 15 for Boys High. And then we had me on one wing, Marty Banks at fullback, and Toulouse Viano on the other wing.
The back three.
I might have missed someone out there. There might be some unreal player on the bench.
I was going to say, I didn't know a few of those early ones, but you got me at the end with the back three.
And we had Polinamu in the, he was one of our hookers. We had Elliot Dixon at 6.
Jeez.
Who else did we have? The Div 1 team we had, like Nasi Manu was coming back and playing.
Yeah.
So they're holding out some of those boys. Like our team was absolutely stacked.
The glory days for the bus drivers.
And somehow we lost to an unknown uni team in the semi-finals.
Who had their culture right.
Yeah. Who had it right culture-wise, but we just choked.
Well, that's good stuff. And then your pathway into the Canterbury team, it all happened relatively quick. Did you go through that pathway of 20s club and then NPC? Is that how it worked, or was it quicker than that?
For me, I missed out on 20s, which was another one I was devastated about. But
did you trial for it?
I didn't even get a trial.
Oh.
No, so that's what I was more disappointed about. I didn't get recognised for a trial. So we played Canterbury under 20s. So that was when we were 19 playing Canterbury under 20s, and me and Toulouse were the wings, and we were scoring four tries a game. Like, it was ridiculous how good we were playing. And then the Canterbury trials got named, and we didn't even get a trial.
Neither of you?
Neither of us. And then I think they had an injury in the last, because they had like 3 trials back then, didn't they, for 20s?
Yeah.
I think in the last trial they had an injury to someone, and Toulouse was lucky enough to like take that spot to go trial, and he obviously carved up and he made the 20s team, rightfully so. He was unbelievable. One of the best wingers I've played with Toulouse. Footwork, like, do you in a phone box.
Yeah.
But I didn't get the trial, so I was more disappointed about that. The team was great. Like, I might not have made it. There was like Julian Severa in my year on the wing.
Yeah.
Your brother
Stacks,
Tojo was at fullback. He was carving. He had unbelievable 20s that year as well, carving up. And then, like, there's a few guys I didn't know. I don't know if they made it through that were on the bench or not playing. Where maybe I thought, I was like, maybe that should have been my spot. But maybe I wasn't as a good 20-year-old as I think I am in my head. I probably didn't deserve it. But when you're 20, you're like, how am I not making this team?
Robbed again. My mum says that I should be there.
Oh, and there was tears as well. I remember finding out Razor rang me.
Was he the coach?
He was like
Dave Rennie wasn't he?
He was the link for Canterbury.
Yeah.
So they had a link for Canterbury, and Razor was the coach. And I think he knew. He was a bit disappointed. He was just the messenger. He's like, "Oh, mate, the feedback is you're not getting a trial because you got to work on like your breakdown stuff." And I was like, "What are you telling a wing fullback that's his biggest work on why he's not getting a trial?"
Yeah.
I remember that there was tears. I was like, I can't believe I'm not getting a trial because my breakdown's not good enough. And he was like, "Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just like passing on the message."
Oh, heartbreak. It still hurts you, I can tell.
Yeah, it does hurt me a little.
Yeah.
No.
But it obviously fueled even more fire, got you motivated to keep striving. And
in hindsight now, it doesn't matter, does it? But yeah, where did I go from there? 20s, missed out that, so I was probably playing Canterbury Colts would have been the rep team I was playing for, and then because me and Toulouse had come up through the years, I was looking at his pathway, and obviously the 20s accelerated that. So that year he had Mitre 10 Cup, and then the next year he got Super Rugby, and that was like hope, because I was like, I've come through with T, like such a good player, but if he can do that, I can do that.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
Yeah, and I was just a year behind him then, and I made my debut for Canterbury in 2011. 2011,
Yeah. Guys often talk about that comparison thing, and they're so gutted to see their mate or someone who's similar to their skill set, and you and Toulouse are a good example, and they're probably more deflated seeing them make it. But you talk about it being I guess, inspiration for you to see that pathway and then realise how close you are.
Yeah, with me and T, we were quite close when we were younger, so like I did see it as more inspiration. And I know there's plenty of spots on the outside back, so I never thought it was like, he's taking my spot.
Yeah.
I was more like, man, if T can do it, I can be out there with him.
Yeah,
like I knew that. I had a feeling that I was going to get there. Like, I was playing good club rugby. I was making the rep teams. It was just like, I got to wait another year.
Yeah.
That's all. And I missed out on 20s, which was devastating, but I knew that my time would come.
Yeah. You always had a lot of confidence in your ability. Like, that's something that sort of stands out so far. Like, a lot of guys, especially when younger, always feel like, oh, am I ready? I don't feel like I'm good enough to be doing this. But you're the opposite. It's like, man, why aren't I picked? And like, I'm awesome.
Confidence or delusional, who knows? I might have never been good enough.
Confidence, mate. You backed it up. Like, you look at your career, what you've done. It's obviously confidence that's worked.
Yeah, no, it was good seeing people that I'd played with make it, and Tyler was one of those as well.
Yeah,
I seen them boys make it a bit earlier. Was never jealous. Always just like, oh well, I can do it as well. Yeah, I can be there too.
Were you confident going 2011 when you make Canterbury? Were you confident that you were good enough for NPC level at the time as well?
Yeah, I was quite nervous.
Yeah.
I remember being really nervous because they had just won 3 titles in a row, and I was confident that I was going to be good enough to play at that level. Like, I wasn't nervous that I wasn't going to be like physically not up to it, or the skill level was not going to be good enough. I was more nervous that shit, they've won 3. I don't want to be the one that comes in and they lose the 4th.
Yeah.
Like, there's a big pressure on that we keep this like run going on, and I was just so desperate to win a title because they'd done 3 previously, and I didn't want it to be like, oh, Johnny's come back and he's the reason that they haven't.
Did you win it?
We won it, yeah. We went on to win 3 more, which was
6 in a row.
Yeah,
was
6
it?
in a row. They went. Yeah, well, we went. I went 3 of them.
Yeah.
Was lucky enough to win 5 in the end before I left, which was good. 5 out of 6.
That's a stat.
We had such good players all the way through my Canterbury era, like guys that were unfortunate to not make All Blacks coming back down, like Crotty.
Yeah.
Like, should have been in the All Blacks most of those seasons, but was just missing out, whether it be Sonny Bill coming back or something like that. And us boys back at Canterbury, like, oh, gutted Crotty, but yes, yes.
Celebrating guys missing out on the All Blacks.
Yeah, like, sorry, Slady, you didn't make the All Blacks, but how good's Canterbury going to be now? And Dallas as well, like those boys, like we had stacked teams because those boys were just missing out on the All Blacks some years. And coming back to play for Canterbury. And
hugely influential for them.
Yeah, and that was like how we probably won a lot of our titles, is because we were probably going out there with 10 All Blacks at one time against a team that would have no one.
Yeah. And 2012 was sort of the year you really lit the competition alight. Crazy Legs was all over the show, just breaking tackles. And that's when you made your Super Rugby debut on the back of that, wasn't it? Did you have a decision to make with the Blues or the Crusaders?
How did you know that? Yeah, I did.
Mate, I know.
How are you finding that info out?
You worry about me.
Yeah, had a really good 2012 year with Canterbury, playing outside Robbie Fruin, just making me look good, scoring tries for fun just from his line breaks. No, we had a really good team, like I said, so being in the outside backs in a team that's stacked is gold. You're just getting good ball all the time, or you might have to only beat one defender to score a try. You don't have to do the whole 100 yards, but had a really good season. Interest come middle of that season from the Blues, like you said, and John Kerwin, it was the coach at the time. He asked me to fly up and look at the facilities. I didn't get to fly up because then I went straight to the Crusaders. I was like, oh, look, the Blues are really interested here. Are you going to offer me anything as well? And they're like, oh, we've got a wider training group deal for you. And I was like, damn, like surely there's a spot there for like
form player in the NPC.
I'm playing good. I remember it. So then I really considered the Auckland deal. We got the deal, and the figures then came.
Yeah,
and it was really good. Like, it was money that I had never seen before. And then a couple of days later, I remember Canterbury Crusaders then put forward a 2-year deal on the minimum. And my eyes were like, oh, the money is way better. It was like double. And there was a payment for a sign-on bonus. Oh. And you know what money's like for provincial players when you're just starting out. It's like I was working and playing. So I was playing for Canterbury my first year, and then I went and got on the brush and painted with my mate for a while and drove a forklift somewhere else for a while. True. And then my second year for Canterbury, if I don't make a Super Rugby team, I'm going to have to do that again.
Yeah.
Because like, the money's not good enough. So seeing that offer of like cash now for signing from the Blues, I was like, oh, should I do it? And I remember asking my stepdad, and I showed him the figures, and he's like, what are you thinking about, mate? He's like, you want to be a Crusader your whole life.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you're right. I have wanted to be a Crusader my whole life. I was like, money means nothing. I was like, easiest decision of my life. I would play for free, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll sign the minimum contract, opposed to this contract that's double, and I think the sign-on bonus was like 40 grand.
Oh, it's a lot of spins at the Cashmere pub.
I remember it was like the way it was worded to me on the phone is like, you'll get that straight away.
Yeah.
As well, and I was like, shit. But no, I want to be a Crusader. And in the end, it was an easy decision. Like when you take the
money out of it,
it's such an easy decision.
Yeah, and obviously no regrets.
No regrets.
That all worked out so well for you going into the Canterbury Crusaders setup.
Yeah, and I just stayed here the whole time in New Zealand. Didn't ever have hints of going anywhere else to any provincial or any other super team. Just stayed loyal.
And loved it. Loved the Super Rugby level and playing with a stacked Crusaders side.
Loved it. Yeah, stacked. Yeah, it was stacked. Like international team apart from myself at sometimes. Well, like I remember me and Fonz used to play together, and we're like, all right, we're the only non-All Blacks out here today.
Let's do our best.
Yeah, let's try our hardest. But yeah, debuted in the same game. I think you debuted in Jimmy, in 2013.
Came up on Sky Sports the other night, didn't it?
Yeah.
And good throwback. I think Hurricanes won that.
Yeah, Hurricanes won.
You came off the bench?
No, I started. You came off the bench.
Oh, I came off the bench. I thought we both did, and I might have been the difference, but
probably were the difference, mate. They got a late intercept try, Alapati Leoa, ruined my debut dreams.
Oh, was that ball going to you too on an outbound?
It was going to me, yeah. So it was just a double miss. So I think Adam Whitelock was the poor boy that threw it, got home the ball, and then I was going to win the race. It's going to be me. Go win a cross dagger, and then Alapati just straight under the post.
What a moment that was. I think I remember calling that, like knowing that you guys were going to... No.
Well, if I got the ball, it would have been me versus you at the back.
And we all know who would have won that. It certainly wouldn't have been me, but... good memories. And then from that moment, you were in the mix, or was it always touch and go for you to... Obviously, so much competition.
I was pretty regular. I had a really bad injury that season where I broke my ankle really bad. Was out for like the whole season in South Africa. Had a horrible trip home with that too. So did all the ligaments in my ankle, like everything you can do.
Shit.
I got a metal plate in there now. It screws all through it.
How'd you do it?
Like I was like holding. I had the ball standing up, and I was sort of like fighting someone, just like trying to hold my feet, waiting for contact to arrive.
Yeah.
And a bigger guy, like a hooker, put all his weight, like a hip drop tackle. You know the leagueies now are going on the hip drop. It's like that.
Man,
he should be out of here. He would not be allowed in the NRL. But yeah, he hip dropped onto my back of my ankle, and then it snapped. And
instant pain, like just excruciating.
So bad. Yeah, really bad. Off the field into a soft cast. They were then Crusaders were then travelling to Durban. So we were in Cape Town, and I went from Cape Town to Sydney on a plane. My ankle just swelled up like you wouldn't believe, because they didn't want me to have surgery there for some reason. They wanted me to come back home and have the surgeon do it back home. Swelled up so bad. Got to Sydney airport, getting on another plane. So you've flown like 12 hours now. Go to the gate, and the air hostess is like, "Oh, you can't come on a plane with a cast." And I was like, "Oh, hold on, I've just been on a 13-hour flight here from Cape Town to Sydney." And she's like, "Oh, it's different rules for different airlines." And I was like, "Oh, it's a soft cast. I can take it off." Yeah. So Deb, the doctor, told me, "Oh, you can take this cast off." And I was like, "Oh, I can take it off." I just got a broken ankle. She said, "Oh, you can't come on with a broken bone." And I was like, "What are these rules you're making up here?" Yeah. And she's like, "Sorry, you can't come on." And it was the last plane out. And I was like, "God, I got to get out of here and get a new flight back." My phone went dead. I was like, "Oh, how am I going to get a new flight back? I've got crutches in the bag." Yeah. Go out of the airport, and I'm going to have to get an airport hotel and then ring the manager, Gus, and explain the situation. Left my wallet in the cab. The guy's like, "Oh, here's your wallet," as I'm at the desk checking into my hotel. He's like, here's your wallet, I'll just leave it here. Like, left it by the door. I was like, that's random. Went back to get it. All my cash and cards are gone.
Oh.
So he's stolen all my money.
Oh.
I'm like, this is like the worst nightmare ever. I've broken my ankle. Just started playing Super Rugby. My money's gone. I can't even get home to have the surgery. My ankle's swelling up like by the minute. Finally get a hotel. Ring up Gus. He books another flight back. Fly home, Sydney to Christchurch. Go to have surgery, and the surgeon's like, your ankle's too swollen. We can't operate on it till the swelling's down. And I was like, it would have been fine if like I got on that first plane. Like some bloke didn't steal my wallet and my phone wasn't flat. Like it was just a nightmare trip home.
Mate, worse for the headspace.
Oh, so bad. That was a long-term injury. It was 6 months. It was a tough. You learn a lot about yourself with your first long-term injury. It was a tough road back.
Yeah. What was it like? What were the challenges for you?
Just like you're worried about getting your spot back, giving someone else a chance.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I talk about Toulouse again. Like he'd come from the Highlanders, and then he started carving up for the Crusaders. And I was like, I'm never going to get a go now.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, you go through like periods of time where you're like, am I going to be good enough? Because my ankle's really badly broken. There's a metal plate in it. Like, is my speed going to come back? And yeah, there's some demons, but it all worked out like every injury does. And
Yeah.
my speed come back, and I found some form back in Mitre 10 Cup 2013, and then once Super Rugby pre-season then rolled round, you're back in the mix, and
Yeah.
if you train well enough and play good enough, you're starting again. I started most of that season, so it all worked out. But
Yeah. Mate, what a journey back from a broken leg. And then why the move to head over to Wales?
I just felt like I wasn't in the mix for the All Blacks. I never had those chats with the coaches, All Blacks coaches, like, oh, this is what you got to do more to do this. And I was like I said, I was in a Super Rugby team where like everyone was an All Black bar me, and I'm starting every week. I'm like, man, I must be close. But as I was like looking at the players in front of me at that time I was about to leave, there was guys like Julian Severe had just had his best World Cup. Wasaki Nahola was carving up. Milner Scudder was playing really well. Ben Smith, like the GOAT.
Yeah.
Like never aged. Like he could go for years. I bet he can still play now. Who else was playing? Dagger was the other fullback. So like the fullback spots were locked up. The wing spots were like really deep. I was like, oh, if I'm gonna make the All Blacks, something really lucky's gonna have to happen. I'm playing really good rugby, but I'm not having that outstanding enough season to be like pick me. So I was like, I think it might be time to try something different and experience a new country and travel. And obviously the money comes into it. Like I said, for the Crusaders, I was on the minimum my first 2 years. The second two years were good, but not great. And then spoke with my agent. He's like, these are the figures that you could earn if you go overseas now. And I was like, all right, maybe that it could be a decision we look at. And we looked into a few clubs and see what clubs had to come back with offers, and then made the decision from there.
Was Wales always the goal?
No, like when we looked at offers, they were from everywhere, apart from Japan and France, because Grace didn't want to go to a non-English speaking country to start with, and we thought it would be like a 2 years here thing, 2 years there, and we'll jump around, and maybe then we'll go to France after we've been in.
Did you have
England,
kids
Wales.
at this point?
No, we didn't.
No
we went over there with no kids.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, we ended up getting 3 offers come in, all the same, basically the same amount of money. So then it didn't become a money decision. For me, it became a decision about what team was the best, because being a outside back, you need a good team in front of you to look good. So I looked at the 3 teams that come were Glasgow, the Dragons in Wales, and the Scarlets. And yeah, I looked at basically the team lists, and the Scarlets was stacked with Welsh internationals, and I was like, they're going to make me look good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was and they had a Kiwi coach as well, Wayne Pivac, so that was another reason to go. And Hadley Parks was there. I knew him from previous years here in Christchurch Rugby, so I had a wee connection there, and yeah, it was a good decision in the end.
Yeah, and what was it like when you got there? Was that everything you thought it would be?
I struggled with the rugby really early on. Wet games.
Yeah.
People not understanding the way I play. Like, I love offloading the ball, so I'm standing in contact, ready to offload the ball, and my own teammates are tackling me to the ground because all they're caring about is hitting rucks. Yeah. And like the frustrations of that it took them a few months to realise what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
It took me a few months to realise what they were trying to do and trying to work each other's game out. It's not the same as over here where we're flinging it about and playing from everywhere. There's a bit more of a kick strap game over there. Defence is focused on a hell of a lot more as well. You spend a lot more of your week focusing on defence, which is different for me. But yeah, once I understood it and felt where I could fit into the game, it was really good. And we had that first year we had a stacked team. Jonathan Davies, Reece Patchell was our 10. James Davies, unbelievable player, 7. Tyke Byrne was like just a random guy we'd signed from Ireland because he wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
He's playing for the Scarlets, who's ended up being obviously a British-Irish Lion, one of the best locks in the world. He was playing unbelievable footy. I had myself at fullback, Liam Williams on one wing, Steph Evans on the other, Scott Williams at 12. So we had a Welsh backline, Gareth Davies at 9. Our team was absolutely stacked. There's no surprises. We won because I went over there the first year. We ended up winning the league, and there's no surprises because the team was just stacked.
Oh, true.
Yeah, yeah.
Straight into it. Straight into the success.
Straight into the success. Yeah, it wasn't as like I'd played when we won the game. This is going to another story. I'd played something like 40 to 50 games that season because I went from playing every Super Rugby game, every Mitre 10 Cup game, and then every Scarlets game, and they'd only just started their season when I went over there. I think it was mid-40s was the amount of games I'd played in a row.
Yeah.
And I remember we won the trophy. Everyone was pumped, but I didn't really know the boys that well yet because I'd only been there half a year. And I remember going up to Grace and being like, thank fuck it's over. Like, I'm so exhausted.
Done.
Like, I wasn't even excited that we'd won the trophy. I was like, we can finally go on holiday. I've played so many games, man. I'm just excited to have a break.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Like when people talk about player load and how many, like these rest weeks that the All Blacks have to have, but it's proof that you just can't keep going 40 games straight.
That was 18 months, I think it was. 18 months of footy just going brutal. Straight. Yeah, it was brutal. And if I'd won the league a few years later with the team, I'm so close with a load of those boys. It would have been so fun. I would have been so excited to win it. Like, it's still a massive thing for me. I love being at the club and they have a photo of us all there with the trophy, and like, it's awesome, and I love it. And I got to be best mates with a load of those boys. But at the time, I was just relieved it was over. Yeah,
interesting. And was that the only time you won it?
Yeah, that was the only time we won it. We made the final the next year. So we had a really good season the next year, made the final, and made European semi-finals. And Europe rugby's really tough, like really tough rugby. And we ended up losing to Leinster in the semi-final, had a really good year. That was very successful for the Scarlets to get that far. And then, made the final of the well, it's not called URC, but then top. It's had about 6 different names since I've been there. Every year it changes, but the URC now made the final of that. And then, every year from the Scarlets, we've sort of just gone downhill since then. Yeah. So like 1st, 2nd, 5th, 6th, I think we're 11th now. Like we're just slowly just downhill slope.
What do you put that down to?
Budget's one of them, so it's no surprise. The team with the highest budget normally wins the league over there. So our budget has dropped, I think, since I've been there by half at least.
Wow.
And because of that, all the middle players are sort of gone elsewhere, and they've only kept like a couple of really good players, and then just the new talent that's coming through, and it hasn't really worked out for them that well. And they've probably got too many teams in Wales. I'd say they probably need to go down to about 2 teams because there's not enough talent for 4 teams to compete in the competition that they're in. Yeah, they can compete against each other. And they can compete against some of the Irish, not the Irish teams. They definitely can't compete against the Irish teams at the minute. But they can compete against like the Italian teams. But other than that, the South Africans are there now. The Irish are just unbelievable product line of players. And we would play their C team and be like, oh yes, it's their 3rd string Leinster side. We're gonna put 40 on them. We're gonna get a win this week. And then they'd go and put 50 on us. And we'd be like, how the hell has that happened? And then 6 months later, you're looking at Hugo Keenan and Keelan Doris carving up for Ireland, and they're the boys that were in the 3rd team about 6 months ago. You're like, oh man, they're just this unbelievable product line.
Yeah. Incredible. Hey, what was Wayne Pivac like?
Yeah, he looked after the foreign boys very well. So for me, when the boys would get a week off, I'd get 2. And because obviously you're playing every single game and it's a long season, he'd be like, oh, the boys are coming on Tuesday, but you don't have to come until the following Monday. But don't tell anyone. So a few of us foreign boys got that treatment. And being away from family and stuff, that gave us chances to go back, come home to New Zealand and stuff like that. So player management from Wayne at the club was brilliant. And those earlier years he was there, that's why we were so successful. And then he moved to go to Wales. But yeah, while I was there, he was good to me as a coach as well. Like on wet days, he'd be like, right, boys, we're not throwing the ball around it, or we're just going to be safe. We're going to kick it down there. And then he'd come to my locker and he'd be like, mate, offload whatever you want. Do whatever you want out there. Just play your way. And that was like unbelievable from a coach to hear, because you're like, oh, I got all this freedom to do what I want to do. Like in the wet, I can just chuck no lookers, and they end up coming off. And if they go into touch or go to the floor, you're not too worried about it, because he's backing that 1 out of 2's going to maybe lead to a try, or he's backing you to counter-attack it back when everyone else is told to kick it. I'm allowed to have a crack. Like,
Oh, that's cool. And then was he the coach who got you into Wales? Was he the one who selected you?
Yeah, he selected me for my first camp. My first camp was actually just a bars game. So they had previously played at the World Cup, and they normally have like what they call an autumn series, but they didn't have it that year, so they only played against the bars, and it wasn't counted as a cap. But it felt like my first game for Wales, because I was still singing the anthem and I was still wearing the shirt. And
how did it feel for you?
Mate, I was very like, you talk about nervous times that I've had. That's one of them. I was very nervous. More nervous for the singing the anthem than playing the match. Like, you back your rugby ability, but I don't know how to speak Welsh. I don't know how to sing the song very well. And as you're going along singing the song, and it happened nearly every one of my tests, they go along and then they stop on me. The camera stops on me for a good 10 seconds, basically checking if you know the words, because they know I'm the foreign player in the team. And I got to see that before I made the Wales team with Parksy as well. Parksy, the same thing, and the same thing would happen. The camera would be going along as they're singing the anthem, then bang, on Parksy for a while, and he's belting out the anthem to see if you know the words.
Oh, crazy.
Like, I was lucky that I had a Welsh-speaking mate, Steph Hughes, who taught me the anthem phonetically, so he spelt it out how it sounded, not how the words actually are spelt in Welsh, because those words are crazy-looking things. So he taught that to me, so thanks for that, Steph.
Did you cop much heat around being a Kiwi? And I know a lot of teams cop at the moment around how many are actually born and raised from their own country, but did you cop much of that?
Yeah, I did. A little bit of banter from the boys. Well, it still exists to this day. Like, they were like, he's Welsh. And like, But, more so the fans with the brutal side of it. And the media, they wanted to get a narrative when they're speaking to you as well. Yeah, they were like, are you Welsh? And I go, how do I answer that question? Like, no, I'm not Welsh, but there's a rule, and I've been here for 3 years. I've been very loyal to your country. Both my daughters are born here. Like, I found myself making up reasons why I should be picked just because of their questions. But mate, I did feel like a Welsh rugby player at that time of my career. Like, I was playing for the Scarlets I ended up 7 years for the Scarlets. I did feel like a Welsh rugby player. No, I wasn't Welsh, but I was a Welsh rugby player, and I did cop a bit of heat. Like, a few bad direct messages coming into my inbox, and like, what was one of them? The worst one was, mate, if I see you in the street, I'm going to knock you out because you're not Welsh. And I was like, directly messaging me, and I messaged him back. I was like, flat 3 Aberdeen house, come knock on my door. And I've got not a fight in me, not a good fight in me at all. But I was fuming. I was like, this guy is like pissing me off. And then went to sleep. Obviously, he didn't come knock on my door. Woke up and I like blocked him. And that was the last time I'd responded to anyone. That was the first time I responded to anyone on social media. I was like, I'm not even going to look at it anymore. I don't look at it anyway. Like, he found a way to direct message me.
And you gave him your address.
I gave him my address. Idiot. The guy probably would have come in there and banged me out. Johnny McNicholl's out for 3 weeks with concussion. Just been banged up by a fan.
Oh, that's crack up. And then, what do you think about the new rule around 5 years, extending that to 5? You think it's a good thing, bad thing? Not sure.
Well, I've done it, haven't I? So
You were the 5 anyway.
I was the 3,
7.
yeah. I was the 5. But 5's a big commitment.
It is.
5's a really big commitment. I think 3 was good. I think it was like just the right amount of time. Like I didn't think I was taking the piss playing for another country. I felt like I'd integrated my family into Wales, and I was a genuine Welsh rugby player. Yeah. And when you're in there, the boys are great. Like none of the boys would say to my face or behind my back, I don't think, would be like, oh fuck, he doesn't deserve to be here.
Yeah.
Like they knew I deserved to be there. They knew what I added to the team, and I think 5's too long.
Yeah.
What it's gone to.
What was it like playing against the All Blacks?
Yeah, that's my favourite. That's one of my favourite games.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, I was buzzing the whole week for that game. Like growing up wanting to be an All Black my whole life.
Yeah.
And then being disappointed that I wasn't good enough to then getting to play international rugby and then play against some of my best mates and against the All Blacks. It was amazing, mate. Honestly, that whole week was such a buzz. I wasn't nervous this time. I was just like, those nerves were just all excitement. I was like, I can't wait to like play this match.
Yeah.
I remember watching the haka and I was like, right, I'm going to steer Cody out. I'm like looking for him. He's looking the other way. I was like, ah. So I look around and Richie, I'm going to steer Rich. No, Richie's not looking. Davey, boom, straight at me, looking at me, and he's like blasting out the haka. Oh, it was such an amazing feeling, like watching it and listening to it, and like just me and Davey just eyeballing each other. It was brilliant. And then in the game, the same thing. Like I caught a counter-attack kickoff, and I'm running it back, and 10 times out of 10, I'm going to step and look for a gap. But I see Davey, and I'm just like I just run straight at him. It might have been Cody, sorry, not Davey. Just straight at him. And like it took him off guard. I got a nice gain line. He's like, he's definitely going to step here, isn't he? But like I was just playing against your mate. It's just different, eh? So it was so fun.
What was the national anthem like for you?
The Kiwi one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Did you sing it?
No, I didn't sing it. No, I didn't sing it. No, I belted out the Welsh one.
Yeah, no doubt.
No, I'm a strong Kiwi still. I support all Kiwi sport, and like if I wasn't playing against the All Blacks and the All Blacks were playing anyone else, I was supporting them. Like I've grown up my whole life. Yeah, that's one of my favourite teams. Like it still is. Like love them to bits. But yeah, playing for Wales is amazing as well, and I'll be supporting them for the rest of my life as well.
Yeah, oh, that's cool. And then, so your Welsh career, I mean, probably didn't have as many caps as I would have thought you would have there. Like, didn't go to the Rugby World Cup. Was that injury, decision?
I got injured at really bad times for campaigns. Yeah. So, like, I made that Six Nations campaign that year. I first made it, and then COVID hit, so we missed out on a game. And then during all the COVID games, I was dealing with the ankle injury, and then I got a chance to play one of the last games against Georgia, I think it was, and then I popped my rib out in that game, so I missed the rest of them. And then the following Six Nations I made, and just my form wasn't good. I just had gone into that campaign and with a little bit of a form slump. Had started the first game. And then after that, I had a bad game, and then never really got a look in. And then with the Rugby World Cup looming after that Six Nations, really keen to make it. Definitely, like 100% thought I was going to make this World Cup camp to then prove myself. I was playing great club rugby. Like I was probably the form 15 at the time, and I didn't get a look in. I think they picked 5 15s, and I didn't even make the camp.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't make the camp. So coaches had changed from PVAC to Gatland at that point. I got no feedback, nothing. Like, yeah. I say sometimes you get delusional when you're confidence or delusional. I don't think I'm delusional saying that I should have been in that camp at least. Yeah, at least. And the boys are good. They also say it, like, talking to, like, Lee's in my position. Lee Halfpenny made the camp, and I wouldn't have taken his spot. It would have been someone else's. But he's like, how the hell are you not in this camp? Like, what have you done to Gatland?
Yeah.
Like, what have you done to one of these coaches? And I couldn't tell you why I didn't make it. I honestly wouldn't have a clue. To this day, I'd have to go ask Gats and be like, mate, why didn't you pick me for that camp at least? Or because I thought the camp was a definite. I was like, I hope I get on the plane to the World Cup. But didn't even get a chance. So
far out. That's fascinating.
Yeah, it's not a nice end to your Welsh career.
Yeah,
especially when you're playing really good footy as well, and you're like, like my club coaches are really happy with me. I'm happy with my form, but someone else is not, and it's just another man's opinion. But
yeah,
it's the wrong man in the job because I needed to be. I wanted to be at the World Cup, so I wish someone else in that job that would pick me. But yeah. Gats, mate, what's the problem, eh?
Cool.
Give me a call. Give me a call, let me know.
But it's so true though, eh? Like one person's opinion can control so much of your career and what you get to experience in your rugby career.
I know, and like I'm not bitter about any of my other teams I haven't made or selections for other things like Six Nations. A couple of times I missed out on selection. But that one, that I will be bitter my whole life for that, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get a chance to go to a World Cup very often, and one comes around where you think you're going to make it and you don't. Yeah, it's like I'll get over it one day, but
not yet.
Not yet.
Another man you mentioned there was Lee Halfpenny, who's obviously here at the moment as well with the Crusaders. You've obviously played a lot of your footy together over there in Wales and Scarlets. Talk to me about him.
Mate, brilliant man. Great man.
Yeah.
Great rugby player, but better man.
Yeah.
Yeah. We would have had 6-7 years together playing, and mate, it was brilliant. If he was involved, I was on the wing. He was at fullback, so our combination was great. As you would know, one of the most professional rugby players out there. Mm-hmm. Like time on the grass, time on analysing things, times working on his kicking. There's no surprises. He's had 100 tests just through work ethic, and he's obviously got the talent to go along with it, mate. He's just a ultimate professional, but even a better mate to me. Like, I love him, and coming over here was so cool to be able to tell. I mean, I rang my mum, and he was the second person I rang to tell that I was coming over here.
Oh, yeah.
Because he'd come back in the Christmas break and done the pre-season with the Crusaders, and I was like, hey, what's it like, mate? Like, I used to be there. Is it the same as this? Is this the same? Have you seen this in Christchurch? How are the coaches? How's the rugby? And I was like, man, I just wish I was there with you so I could like experience it and show you my city. Yeah. So when I made the decision to come back, I rang him and I was like, remember that convo we had at that cafe? Mate, I'm coming back. I'll be able to go for coffees with you. Yeah. We'll be able to go out together with our families. We're going to be able to play together again. Like, it's awesome to be back.
Oh, so cool, eh? Like, you would have never thought, I guess 12 months earlier, that you and Lee Halfpenny would both be back with the Crusaders playing Super Rugby. Although he's not playing yet, he's not far away. So, pretty exciting, eh? Yeah, I can't wait to see him in the jersey, mate. I can't wait. Hopefully I'm playing alongside him. Yeah, mate, how good. Oh. And then, I guess, what are your plans post this season? Have you got much of a plan or goals in mind? Well, I think I've still got loads of good years left in me, Jimmy. So how old are you now? 33. 33. Yeah, 33. Yeah, I'm still playing good footy, so you don't want to leave those good years alone. I still want to play at least 3 good more years of footy. So yeah, the plan. What is the plan? How much should I give away? Because I'm talking to my coach. Where do you play? Where do you want to be? Have you got a bit of paper over there? Any contracts? You know? First live signing on a podcast. No, like the plan is to keep playing pro rugby. So what I've got to do is just play good footy here at the Crusaders, and hopefully the offers come in and we get a choice and can make that choice. But yeah, a few more good seasons of pro rugby. We're looking everywhere at the moment with my agent, so like if something pops up in Japan, we'll explore that. If Rob Penny and you boys want me here for another couple of years, we'd definitely be keen to do that as well. So, mate, if the options come in, I'll be pumped to stay. But yeah, it could be elsewhere. Who knows, mate? It's always a position you want to be in, isn't it, as a player? Like having options in front of you, not like having to sign that only offer that you've got in front of you, eh? Yeah. I'm hoping for options, mate. So hopefully they start coming in soon, and I have the choice of something to make.
I'm just privileged to be here at the minute. And this one of the reasons to come back here was to be in the shop window, because the Scarlet shop window wasn't that great at the time, and the Crusaders shop window is brilliant, and I'm in that shop window now, so hopefully the people that are shopping are looking at myself and need a back three player, and if it's not here, it's somewhere else. And
well, go get some paperwork done after this episode.
Sort me out, Jimmy.
And life after footy, like, what are you thinking there?
Yeah, we were speaking about it the other day. Coaching is something that's come up over the last few years that I think I'd like to do.
Yeah.
Earlier on in my career, I thought no way, but as you play longer and the knowledge builds up, and you have players in the room that you're coaching, and they're telling you you're doing a good job at it, you think, oh, actually, maybe this is a way to pursue it. And when that time comes and you have to hang up the boots, it would be nice to go straight back into something that you're already good at and you love so much, and you don't have to give the game away completely. Yeah,
mate, you'd be a great coach. Didn't really enjoy your painting in your earlier days?
No, Mike Hearing Decorators looked after me well, but no, I don't think I'd go back to him unless he's paying the big bucks now. Don't think I'd go back.
Coaching, mate, you'd be an absolute wizard. Okay, we will go to our questions, because when lads like you come on the podcast, we get plenty of laddish questions. First question is, would you like to get back out there for the Sydenham bus drivers this year? Few Sydenham questions came in. You're obviously an absolute legend down there at the bus drivers.
Oh, Sydenham's the reason I'm in this professional rugby career, mate.
Yeah.
The bussies are great. Oh, I'd love to get back out there with the bussies. Every time I've come home for a holiday, I'm always down there, Sydenham Park, watching the boys, either back to the Cashmere Club or now it's the Bowls Club for a few jugs. So, mate, to get back down there, even if it's just to have a jug after the game, I'll be there.
Yeah. What about play? Would you put the boots on club footy?
Oh, definitely would play. Yeah.
Good stuff. They'll be pumped for that. Okay, next one. When playing cards, how come he always lost? We miss him. Easy money over there. Wyn Jones.
Yeah, typical. He is a snake. He's a cheat as well. Yeah, we used to play a few games of Crash on away trips, and Wyn Jones is a snake. I think he's a bit of a cheat. The last game I played with him, he snaked $100 off me within 10 seconds, and I'd swear it was a misdeal.
10 seconds? What were you playing?
Oh, a game of Crash. It's like 3-card poker. You get 4 hands, and if you win off the first go, the money's doubled. And we played for a lot of money in my last. They're like, oh, this is your last hand before you go, and it lasted 10 seconds, and he just snaked $100 off everyone. Oh. I reckon that it was set up.
You reckon?
Yeah, I reckon he should.
Jury's out.
That money. Yeah.
Okay, next one. We've got a lot of questions that started with "Hey Johnny." So this one's, "Hey Johnny, did you know you were the fastest player in rugby video game Rugby 20?
Did not know that, but not surprised.
You did the stats. Well, I've spoken around this race, especially with Will Jordan, around trying to get a Woodlad race event going. How do you reckon you'd compete in sort of the top 8 fastest players in Super Rugby at the moment? Where would you sort of sit, or how would you rank them?
Yeah, seeing some of those names, Rico looks like especially over 100 metres, it's different, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
You're getting quick, and I think that would suit me as well. I think my top end's pretty good.
Yeah.
Rico would be my top pick, I reckon.
Be favourite?
Yeah. Will looks rapid.
Yeah.
He runs really funny with a rugby ball in his hands.
Yeah.
So imagine if without it, he is rapid.
Yeah.
Jordan Love?
Ruben Love.
Ruben Love, not Jordan Love. Ruben Love, he looks rapid off the mark.
Yeah.
But would he be able to last
Top
100?
end.
Would he be able to last 100?
The $1 million question, I guess.
I'd love to see it. Where are we going to do it?
Riccarton Racetrack, around Cup Week, maybe the Wednesday or Tuesday. Oh, no, it would have to be the Thursday.
The Thursday races down at Riccarton. Love it. Yeah, get me in there. I'll run in the 9th lane if there's not enough room.
Down the outside of the track. Oh, mate, that'd be good to watch, eh? Macca Springer was another name.
Macca,
would you have Macca?
I'd have Macca. I reckon he's rapid. Those young legs are definitely.
You'd beat him, or nah, he'd beat You'd have him.
I think he would have me over the first 20, and then that's when I'm maybe kind of take him on.
You're in the race for sure then. Okay. Another one. Hey Johnny, just wondering if you are the love child of Ben Blair and Scott Hamilton.
2 great Canterbury men there.
Yeah.
2 great.
3 greats.
Yeah, that'll be a good back three.
Oh, what? Ben Blair at fullback, J-Mac on the left, Scott Hamilton on the right.
Oh, tries galore.
Mate, dream team. Okay, how would you sell Wales as a holiday destination?
Oh, wow. You definitely don't want to be going there in the winter. No, that is a tough one. There's a lot of good spots up in West Wales. If you go, the further west you go, it's lovely. And North Wales is lovely. Good beaches along there. Where I was staying in Cardiff, it's not very much of a holiday destination unless you come in to watch sport, because it is the best stadium in the world to play rugby, and it just filters straight out into the pubs. It is unbelievable, great nightlife. So that's how I'd probably advertise. I'd be like, come for a game,
A sporting event and the nightlife.
and then do a 2-hour trip on the M4
Yeah.
for a wee quieter weekend away in the nice beaches of West Wales.
Well, what a way to sell it. Where's Tenby? Is that west?
Yep. Yeah.
It's a beautiful part, eh?
Yeah, lovely spot.
Oh, nice. Okay, next one. Not a question, but his dad was the best kindergarten teacher ever, and I bet he was a great father.
He is. He's my stepdad, Mark Lewis, but he did bring me up, and he's a huge reason why I'm playing footy, because he got me into it.
Yeah, true. What a dad.
What a dad.
Okay, next question. What happened between you and Ray Lilo at Rugby Park? Ray Lilo.
Oh, Ray Lilo. Oh, this is not a nice one for my confidence, but it's probably great for Ray's. In one pre-season out here at Rugby Park.
Was he with the Crusaders?
He was with the Crusaders,
Oh,
yeah.
true.
2014, I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
Hell of a player. He's had a great career in Cardiff now as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, out here at Rugby Park, we're doing a boxing session together, and it was just all the backs, and they're like, the two people that are working the least will have a punishment at the end.
Yeah.
And I thought, all right, I'm going to go hard out. I'm pride myself on work ethic. I'm going to be one of the best workers. So I'm not going to have to worry about that punishment. We get to the end of the session. I have worked hard as well, and the boxing coach is like, Ray, you're going too easy, and Ray was going too easy, and I found out why later on. And they're like, oh, and J-Mac, you're going too easy as well. You're getting punished. All right, it's we're going to create a circle around them, and they're going to spar for 3 minutes. And I was like, oh no, like my boxing skills are very little. I was like, I've been working so hard here too. So how have I got in this predicament? And anyway, I remember saying to Fonz before, because I was so gutted about it. I was like, all right, Fonz, I'm just going to fuck him up. I'm going to punch as hard as I can.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go as hard as I can for as long as I can. And hopefully, like, it's done after that. So anyway, we get in the circle. Boys are all surrounding us. And he's like, all right, go. And I'm going as hard as I can. Body shots only. And I'm just connecting with his arms. He's like blocking every shot.
Yeah.
For like 30 seconds, I just punch. He takes it all. And I'd never had a boxing fight in my life. I didn't realise how fucked I was going to be afterwards. I was like, oh. And then Ray was sort of like, all right, my turn now. And he just did the same combo, left, right, left, right. And he just kept hitting me in the same spot. And I knew it was coming, but I couldn't defend it. I was like, and he just fucked me up. I then took a knee, and the boxing coach was like, get the fuck up. And I was like, oh my God. And Ray just kept going at it again. Bang, bang, bang.
Were you not allowed to punch?
Bang. I was.
Or you just guessed?
But I couldn't. And he like winded me. And we were only like 2 minutes in now. And I think the coach noticed. He's like, oh, he's actually fucked him up here. So he's like, oh, it's all done. The boys are laughing. They think it's so funny that Ray's like fucked me up.
Yeah.
Little did I know that Ray's had a little bit of boxing experience before. And he's like known to hit hard, and I'd taken on the wrong guy. Not that I got to choose to take Ray on, but I should have just gone easy, and he might have gone easy back. But because I went hard at the first 30 seconds, he probably thought, fuck you, I'm going to show this guy. I remember walking off the field, boys couldn't stop laughing about it, and I snuck into the physio room, and I went to Rochi. I was like, Rochi, I think Ray's broken my ribs, bro. I think he's broken my ribs. And genuinely, I thought I had some kidney damage or some rib damage because I was in so much pain. Fonz never lets me live it down, but the boys will love that story.
Oh, that's so good. You're lucky you didn't. That guy who you messaged on Instagram didn't know that story. He would have come round with the 1-2.
I know. I got dropped twice by body shots. But anyone that doesn't know Ray is a really good fighter. So like, I still have a little bit of street cred out there, I think.
Yeah, no, he is a good fighter and a champion man, actually, Ray Lilo. 2 more questions. Who has the best sidestep in World Rugby?
Oh, Cheslin Colby's got to be up there.
Oh, yeah.
Mate, he looks undefendable.
Yeah.
You don't know where he's going. If Roger Tuivasa-Sheck was still back, he looks like he's carving up in the league right now, isn't he?
Yeah.
His sidestep. Who else has got a mean sidestep? Steph Evans at my Scarlets club.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If you know it's only his left foot, you can defend it. But it's one of those ones you know is coming and still can't stop it.
Yeah. Those are tough. The big left foots. Toulousa, where's he?
Oh, how could I forget? I talked about him enough. Yeah, T's right up there.
Okay, last question. Best piece of advice you have for a What a Lad listener?
Oh,
Could be for yourself.
There's been some great advice on this podcast before, so it's going to be hard to live up to, isn't it? A coach once said to me, trust your gut. And I reckon it's the best bit of advice on the rugby field I've had, and off it now as well. If you've got a decision to make and you stew on it for a few minutes, whatever your gut's telling you is probably the right decision. And that's what happened with me when I come over here. I stewed on that decision for a few hours, and it's definitely the right decision was to come home and play for the Crusaders rather than stay for those last few months. And then when it comes on the field as well, all the good moments that I've had on the field are normally instinctive. You just do it. You're just trusting your gut. If you're overthinking it, you're probably doing something wrong.
Yeah, mate, love it. Gut, trust your gut. Well, that could be the best piece of advice we've ever had. It could be. And I'm so glad you did trust your gut, because it's meant that we've managed to sit down and have this What a Lad opportunity with one of the great lads, and we get to watch you play Super Rugby again for your beloved Crusaders, and as we try and chase another title here with the great man himself. But appreciate you coming on, mate. You're an absolute lad, and it's been a pleasure working with you over the last few weeks, and look forward to a few more years, shall we say.
Baby.
No, but you're a lad, mate.
Cheers, Jim.